I'm Book Monster Mitch. Today's video is, I think I'll call it Book Forecast or something along those lines. And hang on for just a second. Um, I'll tell you, I'll explain what that means, what I mean by that. So, what I mean by book forecast is just right here in front of me, in front of the keyboard, out of the view of the camera. Surprisingly, the stack is not in the camera because it's right up against the screen here. Um, I have a small stack of paperback books. I think one, two, three, maybe four books in this stack. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera much. I was just counting the number of books that are in front of me that I would like to eventually read. And these books are the only books, or not the only books, I will talk about in this video. It's just I pulled a few physical paperback books that I would like to eventually get to. Um, Next year, year after, it just, it really depends on my mood, and there are some things that I will talk about that are still open, ongoing. I haven't finished um, books yet that I had started, so I need to finish those up. I'll talk about those as well as in this video later as I go along. But let's start with the little stack in front of me, shall we? Um, no particular order, it's just how I stack them. First on the stack is, hang on, like I always say when I have books to show off the camera, I like to concentrate and grab them. So if I'm making faces, grunting, whatever, it's nothing personal, just taking my time and doing what I have to do. So hang on just a little bit. First book we have on the stack here. Let me get a better hold so I can hopefully show it in camera at least to some extent where you can make out what it is. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move back from the computer and hold it up better, and you can hopefully make it out better. I don't know if the title Getting Camera all that well. So I'm a little further back. I just wanted you to see the cover. And if you can't see it or make it out too well, the title is Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Um, Classic on the water, the adventure, whale hunting, that sort of thing. In the 1900s or maybe early, I'm sorry, maybe early 1900s or 1800s, somewhere around there. That's most likely when this story takes place, the time period anyway. So Moby Dick would be technically a reread for me. But the first time I would actually read a full version of the story. Um, Let me explain that, and let me move back to the desk so I can put Moby Dick down, and then I'll be ready to grab the next book as I go along. I'm sorry, just had to concentrate for a second. Um, I'll have to shuffle things around in a minute. So anyway, as I was saying, Moby Dick would technically be a reread for me because if you're around my age, around 40, age 40 or so, give or take, you may recall there were a few books. I don't know if you could call it a series or whatever, a group of books that were classics, but they went under the heading of great illustrated classics, something like that, something of that nature. What it was just shortened, abbreviated, annotated versions of classic stories such as Moby Dick, Black Beauty, Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Frankenstein, so on, Call of the Wild. I'm just trying to recall a few I had. Um, and every other page was a black and white illustration with a little caption, phrase, a quote, basically saying what that what the story captured in illustration, black and white illustration form at that moment. So among the books, illustrated books that I had, Moby Dick was one of those. So when I do get to this version of Moby Dick, it will be the first time I really read the entire unabridged full version. So there's that. And like I said, I'm just gonna take another second to move Moby Dick off the top of the pile. The next book on the stack is Upside Down for one. Hang on. Technical difficulties, as it were. Um, like I said, I apologize for not talking at the moment. It's just what it is, kind of thing. Uh, so the next book on the pile, on the stack, is Upside Down. How that happened, maybe I had it right side up when I grabbed it. Sorry about that. Just give me a couple of minutes. Cord fell out, but that's okay. Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary, kind of covering my face a little bit to get in camera the best I can without backing up. But Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary, is another book on my long range forecast, TBR as it is. I really don't think I need to say much about this book. It was turned into a movie that came out maybe spring of this year, maybe March, April, along those lines this year. I forget the guy who played the main character. I forget the gentleman's name that played the main character in the story, in the movie, but he's a well known uh, current actor right now. I'm just drawing a blank on his name. Anyway, let me know down in the comments his name, and please give me some advice. That's the purpose of this video. I need your help, need your advice on which of these should I prioritize. Which of these um, might be worth my time going through first. I feel they're all worthwhile. It's just I need help, in saying Project Hail Mary should go over or above Moby Dick or vice versa, what have you. So Moby Dick and Project Hail Mary are the first two books in my long range TBR. But there's more. Hang on. Like I said, just bear with me, please. I know I keep repeating pretty much the same phrase. I'm just polite like that, I guess. So the next book is honestly a representative of a series, a trilogy, um, a land, a world, whatever you want to say. And this, of course, needs no introduction whatsoever. You can see the author's name at the very top. Um, yes, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Um, and this honestly represents not only this book, but the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, because I do have this copy of Fellowship of the Rings, or Fellowship of the Ring. I'm sorry, I'm sure somebody would blast me in the comments saying it's Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. So I wanted to correct myself before that happens. But anyway, all that aside, I have this book plus Two Towers and Return of the King uh, over there on the shelf. But this one, Fellowship of the Ring, was out and easy to grab for this video, so I did that. Now, full disclosure, I only have the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I don't have The Hobbit or Silmarillion, any of the other uh, books or whatever in or around Tolkien's Middle Earth, land, world, whatever. So I would like to get those eventually. This video is just what I have on hand that I feel I would like to read or need to read. So, Lord of the Rings, that's another long range TBR. Uh, I definitely have to want to do this when I have no idea. Like I said, that's the main purpose of this video is to leave it off or have you guys give your feedback and let me know what should I prioritize. And I know I just have a feeling somebody or a lot of people will say, yes, go with Lord of the Rings. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you tell me start with The Hobbit. Well, like I said, I'd like to. I just don't have it on hand. Uh, in physical or Kindle or any of that, which is a crying shame if you ask me personally. But anyway, um, the last book on today's stack, I'm not sure if, you know, if it's well known or known to too many people. But I had grabbed it one day while I was out book shopping, and it, like I said, it was on my shelf, and I've been wanting to read it just like all these other books I've been discussing. So the last book on today's stack is, hang on, let me grab it. Um, the other books were easy because they were stacked one on the other. It just came off the stack easy. This is the last one I had stacked. So If I can't grab it, I'll just tell you what it is. Um, Something popped up on my screen. I hope it didn't ruin the view of the camera. But anyway, I unfortunately can't grab the last book on the stack, but it is titled The Italian, um, by Anne Radcliffe, I believe is the author. Um, if anybody's heard of it, please let me know. Heard of it, read it. Please give me your thoughts and feedback in the comments. So yeah, there are other books that I have started that I have yet to finish. Some of those being the blade itself. As of recording, I'm 80 pages into that on the Kindle. That's the first book in the first Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I'm enjoying that. Another of those ongoing books and series is Empire of Silence. Um, of course, that's Sun Eater Book 1. Christopher Raphael, I don't think I need to elaborate too much on that. Um, and there's so many other books that I would like to read and just haven't gotten to yet. I recently did a Kindle e-reader book haul on the channel of 6 or 7 books. I'd like to get to those eventually too. There's just so many books, so many series I either have started and yet to finish or want to get to. So that's why I need your help. Please give me your feedback. A lot of it depends on my mood reading as well, but your feedback will help. Thank you. Have a good day, good evening. I'm sorry this video lasted so long, but it is what it is. I wanted to not only not only talk about books, but show some of them off. And of course, one last mention of a book that I started, and I honestly got the hardcover um, a month or so ago, but the last book I will mention is Discovery by J.A.J. Minton. That's the Minton family, John, Amy, and Jacob, over at at the channel Talking Story on YouTube. I'll throw a link to their channel in the comment in the description. Please, if you like what I do, not really knocking myself, but I think you would like the banter, the overall vibe of Talking Story a lot more. I'll put a link to their channel and Mike from Mike's Book Reviews. I'll put links to both of those channels in the description. Please, like I said, if you like what you see on this channel on Book Monster, they have nothing on me, and that's, like I said, I'm not knocking myself down, although it may sound that way, but I'm really not. I've watched them for quite a while now, especially Mike. I've been subscribed to Mike's channel um, pretty much as long as he's been around. And I believe he's been around, I mean, his channel's been in existence for 6 or 7 years. I forget which, but it's somewhere around there, 6 or 7. So if you haven't, I recommend clicking on those links and trying a video or two of those gentlemen. So, with all that said, Book Monster Man signing off. Have a good day, good evening. Take care of yourself and each other. I'll talk to you soon with another video. Hopefully, not as long as this one. Anyway, bye.